The Cannabis Show is for information only. You should always consult with a qualified and licensed physician or other medical care provider.
Welcome to the Cannabis Show. I want to start off today by thanking all of you who voted for us in LIFT's Canadian Cannabis Awards and choosing us for Top Podcast. We're honored not only that you would take the time to vote for us, but that you take the time each week to watch our show. Thank you. Today on the show, we have a closer look at Elixir, and Hart has written us a wonderful holiday poem. Was the night before Christmas. All that and more, keep watching. How can I take my medical cannabis besides vaping or doing oils? Is there a more discreet way to take my medication? We hear this question a lot at NHS, and the answer is yes. Thanks to licensed producer Hydropothecary, Elixir No. 1 is the first actual sublingual mist to be sold in Canada. Elixir No. 1 is a hybrid and has been said to be good for pain, stress, and may provide an overall uplifting feeling. But let's get back to the innovative way of how the Elixir No. 1 works. The child-resistant spray bottle, which fits into your palm, creates a peppermint-flavored mist that is aimed under your tongue. Since this product is sublingual, it typically takes an effect in about 10 to 15 minutes. Safe and discreet, the Elixir No. 1 is perfect for medicating without any fuss. Oh, and fresh breath too.
"'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the greenhouse, all the ladies are growing, and I have this to espouse. The stockings are filled high with buds and with care, with hopes of Hydropothecary's kush stuffed in there. The plants are nestled all snug in their pots, while visions of curing vaults danced in their thoughts. And Mama with her bong and me with my pipe had just settled down to break the stoner stereotype. When from the grow room there arose such a clatter, I sprang from the couch. Nah, I'll deal with it later. As I looked out the window, I saw a lighter flash. It was an old fat guy trying to light up his hash. When, what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature bong to smoke? Hey, I'll volunteer. With a little glass bowl and the flick of a bic, I knew in a moment it must be jolly St. Nick. And just like Tommy Chong, he set them aflame. He twisted each joint and called them by name. Now midday, now bedtime, now honeydew and elixir. On kush and bedtime, it's time to get blitzer. To the top of the porch, to our special spot. Put your stash away, stash away, cops! As dry leaves that crumble away from the stick they call tie, when met with an obstacle, it's time to get high. So up to the housetop we went to blaze, armed with our vapes and some good lemon haze. And then, in a twinkling, I saw with my eyes that big fat man we so highly prize. He was dressed in white coveralls with hair and beard net. He knows without these, Shane Morris gets upset. A bundle of buds he had flung on his back, kind of looked like a dealer slinging a bunch of 20 sacks. His eyes, how they twinkled, all glassy and merry. His cheeks were lit up like roses as he lit up his cherry. His tight little joint was rolled up like a bow, but the color of the ash was as white as the snow. He pulled out a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke encircled his head like a wreath. He had a smile on his face as he reached a new level and wondered just how they could call this the devil. He was chubby and plump and loved to eat snacks. Are you listening, government? No medical tax. With the wink of his eye, I could see he was lifted. He grumbled, "The grower of this is extremely gifted." He spoke a few words and used all of his powers to fill all the stockings with trike-laden flowers. He laid his fat finger over top his lit bowl, and I knew for certain I was not getting coal. He sprang to his sleigh, but decided on Uber. Our jolly St. Nick had smoked too many doobers. But I heard him exclaim as he drove out of sight, "Happy Kushmas to all, may your doobies be tight."
At one time, it was illegal not to grow hemp. Then it got lumped in with cannabis, despite having scant levels of THCA, and then it became illegal to grow hemp.
And now, its seeds and flowers are used in health foods like hemp hearts with essential omega-3s and 6s and complete protein and organic body care. It's a healthy choice in animal foods, cereal, bread, and dairy products. The stalks and fibers of hemp are used in hemp clothing, construction materials, biofuel, and plastic composites. You may have heard it was part of a successful prototype when Henry Ford was building cars. But for good and for bad, steel won out.
You can ask us anything on the Cannabis Show, and if you have a question for our panel to answer, just email it in. It's thecannabiссhow@naturalhealthservices.ca. I'm Chris, we have Kate and Basil. Sorry, we're touching hands there. First question, the question today is from David, and he went on to say, my question has to do with my body's natural ability to tolerance of cannabis. I smoke sativa starting at 6:30, dose at 7:30, 8:30, and 9:30. I take one dose of a balanced hybrid, and then at 10:30 and 11:30, I switch to an indica. I'm wondering if my body is building a tolerance. Would it be better to have a different strains to cycle through on each day? Well, David, thank you for your question.
Great question. Yeah, thanks for all those details. Those really help, actually, like knowing exactly when you're talking about dosing. And it's quite possible that you are building a tolerance. So just make sure that you are, in fact, microdosing. So by that, we mean just the smallest effective amount to gain relief, and that way you're not building up a tolerance and your receptors aren't being, kind of retracting from too much medication. But microdosing would be key there.
Yeah, microdosing is great. What I will say is it is nice that you're switching it up between the three throughout the day, but I think what you may want to do is maybe on a monthly basis, switch it up completely, get some new strains in there, because you're going to build up a bit of a tolerance to that cannabinoid profile as well as that terpene profile. So new strains on a monthly basis, and I think even a tolerance break.
Tolerance breaks are really important, yeah.
Always a great idea.
Yeah, so even if you just take a break for 3 days, if you just don't take any medication for 3 days, for instance, then your receptors have a chance to reset.
Yeah, no, those are good answers there. Hopefully that answers your question there, David. And again, if you have a question for The Cannabis Show, email it to thecannabisshow@naturalhealthservices.ca.